This is Mr. Mums, the parenting podcast that's as real as the mess in your living room, but way more fun.
Hosted by us,
Demi Duncan
and Melinda Baxter, the proud inventors of the Mr. Formula Feeding Safety Thermos.
We're here to share unfiltered life updates, parenting stories and advice.
Plus, the chaos that comes with juggling 7 children between us while running a business.
So grab a coffee or whatever keeps you going and join us for a laugh.
Because let's face it, we're all just figuring it out.
So we sat down with Amie Rohan.
Yes, we knew that this episode would probably need like 10 parts because we're all very
right?
chatty people.
And then it got to like an hour and we were like, whoa. I don't know where that hour just went.
It just went bing. And we chatted before it too. And we kept having to be like, stop this conversation.
And then afterwards we were like, but we didn't cover this and this and this and this. So
we essentially got through one nice little topic.
Yeah.
Which was the main one we wanted to chat about.
Yeah, it was, because we spoke about very much in depth how she had a VBAC after having 2 caesareans, which is not very common. It's actually not common at all. What her process was like, speaking to her obstetrician, the hospital, and everything that flowed on since then.
Yes, and this is the first time Amie has shared her birth story. So that's quite good for our listeners.
And we know that just anyone who's ever pregnant loves a birth story.
Loves a birth story. You can't literally consume enough.
Yeah.
And I think this one's so good because it's like so hopeful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, same.
And it's not common. It just goes to show like the amount of birth stories we've spoken about on this podcast between us and anyone else. Everyone's so different. Like there's actually not one same birth story.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great ep and it's an open
good
book.
chat.
And
we also touched on a little bit of how she found love after a divorce.
Yes.
While being a single mother of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
'Cause I think-
internal challenge.
Yeah. And I think like that, that would be hard and daunting for anyone who's gone through a divorce.
Yeah.
So that was we touched on that a little bit. Anyway, enjoy the app.
Enjoy.
Amie, welcome to the Miss Mums pod.
Thank you so much for having me. It feels really weird. I don't think I've recorded a podcast in front of people. So this feels, I've just done them via like Zooms. And, Zooms, yeah.
So you've never done an in-person
No.
podcast
So this
recording?
is really weird.
Stop it.
These are like so chill.
Yeah.
Like
no.
by the time we start chatting, it'll be like, oh, should we have a coffee?
We've already had to stop ourselves from chatting because I'm like, ooh.
Online podcasts make me so much more nervous because there's like a lag and it's just like,
There's a
and
lag,
how'd you feel?
and you've just got to like set up the whole space. Wherever I've come here today with no baggage, which I feel very naked, but it's nice.
How did you go getting here today?
Well, I messaged Demi at 4 a.m.
Stop.
And was like, just pre-warning, Archie's been up since 2 spewing. I don't know what the morning will look like. But anyway, it's fine.
I sent back when I got home from the gym and I was like, don't come. Like, just cancel, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, it's fine.
Oh my God, cancel.
I was like, from one mum to another.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, when I woke up, I sort of said to Jason, I was like, I've got something else on today that I couldn't really cancel. And I was like, what should I do? And he's like, oh, we're sort of on the end of our job. He's like, I'll call in and say, Archie's sick. I need to look after him. Which, like, can we just acknowledge that?
That's
like,
so
when does
good.
that happen as
Yeah.
well?
It's usually always like, I know it sounds bad, but it's just the mum.
Well, it falls on us all the time. And I was like, I really can't. I may as well do it all if I can't cancel the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
We wouldn't have looked at you and been like, she didn't cancel that.
No.
Yeah.
She cancelled us.
So I don't want anyone to judge me for like, oh my God, she left her 6th son at home. But, everyone judges anyway.
Your son is with his dad.
Dad.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
You didn't hire a babysitter.
Yes.
And
thank
leave your
you.
sick son at home with a paid babysitter, paid or not paid, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the reassurance.
He is at home with his parent.
with his
fully
other,
capable
Whether it's you
dad.
or dad.
capabilities.
Okay.
But then I got up and I was getting the girls and stuff ready for school and kinder, and he was just starts crawling out, slapping down, and I was like, he's very sick. And Jason's like, well, it is what it is. I've taken the day off work. And I'm like, it's fine. He probably needs to catch up on some sleep anyway.
Yeah. And he probably will. He'll be more tired
I think
today.
Jason probably needs to catch up on some sleep as well. So
I think
it'll be
there'll
fine.
a few naps in your household.
So I'm here anyway.
You made it?
I'm very honoured. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Thank you for making the time.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. What's an hour out of a week?
So your baby's 1.
My baby's 1.
Was that the quickest year of your life?
hands down?
Yeah.
I blinked.
Yeah.
I blinked. And in some of the early days where you're cluster feeding and, you're like, oh, literally just sat down after doing the school drop off, and now I've got to get out of the house to do the kinder pickup. You're just like, oh, is this ever going to end? And then before I knew it, I was celebrating his first birthday, and it's crazy. The more you have, the quicker they go, and people tell you it's not until you're in it yourself that you actually feel it. But he's been the easiest child by far. Oh. But in saying that, I think the environment's been the easiest by far. So I don't know if things were more stable with the other two, like Bella and Sadie, that I would have thought that it was easier as well. But he just has to go with the flow. He's the most chill child. In saying that, since he's turned 1,
they flick a switch, don't they?
Oh my goodness.
They're so nice until they turn. I always say that. I'm like, I love babies until they turn 1.
He does this like thing at the moment and like grabs at my face, and I'm like,
I know.
Mate.
I feel like they really know what they want at 1.
Yeah.
I think and then all of a sudden, like, they don't want to be put down. Like, they let you know about it.
Yeah.
Like, they like cling on to you, and
it's like they're assertive and they can't speak. So it's like, cool. So you just scream at me.
So much fun. That. Yeah. But the other day, Monday, I went to the gym and I forgot his dummy, and he always falls asleep towards the end of the gym. I work out like 10 o'clock. And he just cried and was really unsettled. I had to feed him halfway through. I'm still breastfeeding him. And everyone was like, who is this child? I know.
This is my 1-year-old.
They're like, we've never seen Archie like this. I was like, he knows that he wants a dummy and he doesn't have his dummy. And I'm like, ooh.
At least though, that's like a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, that's fair. He literally comes here every week. He's got his dummy and he goes to sleep.
This is his morning like cat nap time. Yeah. You forgot my dummy. Yep. Mum, what are you doing to me? Yep. So we're not getting rid of the dummy anytime soon. No. Which is fine. Is what it is. I think Sadie has her. She'll like 3.5.
You got to do what you got to do.
Sadie killed me. Anyway,
my kids suck their thumb, so I'd rather a dummy because I just want to chop their thumbs off.
I've actually heard this a lot. Yeah. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Scarlett still sucks 2 fingers.
She still does.
She was
doing that when I met you. Yeah. Oh my God. Just put the self-soothing gal.
And Archie does and Parker does. I've got 3 kids that do it.
And
Scarlett does it the most. Like, she'll sit on the couch and do it, or like get up in the morning and do it. Archie won't do it until he's got his bunnies in his hand, and Parker won't do it until he's got his bunnies in his hand.
It's funny you say that because Bella was always very handsy. Yep. So she still every night, like, I read them a book before they go to bed and I sit there until they fall asleep because I'm a sucker. But she will constantly want me to hold her hand. And she has since she was a baby. Like, that was her thing.
That's her comfort.
When we'd swaddle her in the hospital, like, no matter how hard we did it, she'd like get this little hand up.
Really?
Yeah. It was so weird. And I'm like, mate, how did you get that out?
Yeah. It's just been her comfort.
Hand. Yeah.
My brother plays with my mum's elbow skin.
Stop it.
Still does to this day. Like, we'll stand there.
Stop.
That was his comfort. Like,
I don't know if I should tell you my comfort or not. This is quite mortifying. But anyone that went to my 21st will know it because my mum and dad, that was the speech. I don't know how I got a pair of my mum's silk knickers off the line when I was young, like underwear, and I would like use it as like a comforter on my face and rub it on my face. And then you just kept them? They were clean, by the way.
Well, they're off the line. So.
And then Mum was like, this is so embarrassing. So she ended up like cutting them up and making little cloths of them because she lost them one day. Yeah. She kept them and re-gifted them to me for my 21st. And that was the speech.
That's a funny comfort though.
Good.
Well, when you think about it, you know how people have like their little comforter toys, like their teddies, and they make teddies these days with like, a blanket and...
That's a funny
That was mine.
It's just a pair of undies.
And it's funny, it just must feel like for anyone with whatever comfort, it just like a soothing.
Soothes you, yeah.
I can't say that I have anything similar now that I'm grown up, but it's so funny. And whenever I tell anyone, they're like, that is hilarious. I'm like, and wonder why I've got a kid that loves her handheld to sleep. And Sadie used to play with her dummies as well, and Bella. So I'm like, oh, God, they're me. Anyway.
Comforts are funny, I reckon, when the kids find their comforts.
Yeah, I wonder what age you grew out of that when you're like, hang on, these are Mum's undies.
I think Santa took them. Or the Easter Bunny, I was very off.
That's what you can do with the dummy and...
The fairy doors, those little fairy doors. Have you heard of them?
No.
So it's like a little door. It's like it's a brand called the fairy door, and you just put it onto your wall and then the fairies take them. Yeah.
That's really genius.
Or you can put him in your garden or
Good
whatever.
to know for Archie.
Yeah.
Don't know if he'll be that keen on a fairy door, but hey, he's got 2 sisters.
Do you know what? my brother had dummies until he was like 6 because mum was just running us 2 girls around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, why would I take that away from him when
Yeah.
that he was happy to come around? That'll probably be Archie.
Probably,
Yeah.
What did Jason said that the other day? He's like, yeah, we should probably like start weaning him off that. And I'm like, you're at
You
work.
can try.
Yeah.
Sure.
Even today, he's like, your boobs fix everything. He's like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? I'm like, well, I'm here for like an hour. I was like, I can race home.
Yeah.
I can fix that solution, like that problem. Anyway, I can't believe I'm still breastfeeding, by the way. That's just.
How good
Yeah.
for you? Because I know you didn't struggle with it, like you formula fed, but like you
Yeah.
still wanted to breastfeed.
Wanted to breastfeed
think-
the whole time.
Yeah.
Because
Sadie?
yeah,
Yeah.
Ollie was 4 months before her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
December.
December,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Sadie was March
Yeah.
2020. And I think I remember messaging you in the hub, being like, oh, I was meant to message you through. How you going? I'm like, oh, I've been pumping and express feeding.
Because that's when you used a Mr. bottle, wasn't it?
Yeah. After I just was like, I can't pump 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So I think I exclusively bottle fed her breast milk from 8 or 9 weeks to 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Which was quite hard. And I wanted to be able to feed, but I think she was obviously feeding off my anxiety and my emotions, and I wanted to be able to exclusively breastfeed Bella, but that was hard because she was so little.
Yeah.
Also, so this time when I was like, I really want to try and do it, Jason was like, I'm all for you doing whatever you want to do, but I'm going to help you as much as I can. And yeah, here we are.
And you've done it.
I did it.
Do you want to just go as long as you humanly possible? Like,
He wakes about 100 times a night. He's not the most.
Stop.
I actually don't know how
are you functioning?
I don't know.
I think you just do. Like we've spoken about this, but I had 2 bad nights in a row with Parker just recently.
Yeah.
And he's only turned 1 in March. And I said to Mel, I am in the worst mood. I hate everyone.
Yeah.
If anyone looks at me the wrong way, I'm like, fuck off.
I think it's finding your things to keep you sane.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have to go to the gym 4 times a week. It's a non-negotiable, or I turn into a crazy person.
Yeah.
I've got to get in the ocean at least 2 times a week. Like,
I
it's
wish I was
finding
like that.
Yeah.
The ocean.
I don't know what I'd do if I didn't live by the ocean. I'd be a really shitty person, I think I've decided. But I only found that in the thick of like divorce. Like I found that that's my reset.
Yeah.
And I think it's finding your resets that keep you sane. And the fact that he's still breastfed, I'm like, shut the fuck up here.
Yeah.
And we still closely. Which, that's
He
what
can
we
smell
do.
it.
He can smell me. But like when we were away, we went camping recently, and he only woke once one night, and I was like,
What is this life?
what is this? I've
Was
got
he-
all the energy in the world.
Was he sleeping next to you still?
Yeah. Weird.
And then like, did you try and like recreate that exact
I was
schedule?
like, what time did he nap yesterday morning? How long was his like good nap during the day? What time did he eat dinner?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I can't really fuss about that with other kids,
No,
can
you
you?
can't.
No.
And if it's fine, like if it's working,
works for
you know what?
you-
It works.
And I think if you and your partner are on the same level,
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Jason's very supportive of like, you do what you know works for you and what you're comfortable doing.
Yeah.
But he's a darling. He's looks into the benefits of like co-sleeping until a certain age. Like Sadie
Bless.
co-slept with me till Jason moved in.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, better get on a bud.
What a vibe killer.
I know. Bye. But yeah, and then Bella, she basically in and out close slept until I had Sadie.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to be up with another one. Yeah.
But I mean, like you're 12 months gone and like
It's been the
Fine.
easiest 12 months of my life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what?
do what you do. 100%.
Great message to any parents out there, like
Yeah.
seeing what is posted on social media and
About-
online. Find your groove.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
you're not gonna get judged for doing something that works for you.
Nah.
Nah, that's so right. And
No
people
one else's business
Nah, that's
either.
it.
Can we
so
go back to
not.
that?
in the dead of the night, it's your business.
Honestly.
and honestly, anything you can do to stay sane.
Yeah.
What did I say? Oh, Jason and I had this conversation the other day. It was like, when you're at school, like high school, does someone come up to you and go, hey, when
Where
did
did
you
you-
start
totally.
sleeping through the night? When did you start sleeping in your
Yeah.
own bed? how long did you have a dummy for? Were you bottle fed?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, you don't
Well,
get
like-
asked that at job interviews or
Yeah. It's just
But you
stupid.
only talk about it when you're doing it because like you're living that life.
Well, it's your world.
It's your world.
It's all you know.
And like when you've got little kids, it's kind of like you're surrounded by other mums with little kids and it
Yeah.
just kind of like it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas like when all of our kids are teenagers, I'll be like, did your kids sneak out on the weekend? Because
Yeah,
mine fucking did. You know, and that'll be our conversation.
Which is just wild to think
Yeah.
that's going to be our conversation
Or
one
like,
day.
you know, school stuff. Like it will be in a
Yeah.
different phase where
Yeah.
that's all we'll talk about.
Yeah.
I find myself catching myself and going, oh my God, like how am I here? How have I got school kids and kinder
Yeah.
kids? Like yesterday, like we were organising park catch ups
Yeah.
and like whose house we were going to this day of the week. And yeah, it's crazy how quick time flies and how quick
know.
the conversation changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to take it back because for those that don't know, Amy's had 2 Caesars with the girls.
I have.
So Archie,
it was my first natural birth, which is wild. I don't think I ever, having another baby after having a divorce is massive because you're like, I never felt done, but I don't know if I'll ever feel done in saying that. And just, I was so anxious.
about falling pregnant or going into the like once
In
you're
terms
pregnant?
of with Sadie, I was so anxious that entire pregnancy that it wasn't even on my mind to go natural with her.
Right.
So then when the conversation came around with Archie, I was like, what do you mean? Like I've had 2 C-sections. And yeah, our obstetrician for our last baby, Cara, was like, well, it's been 4 years, you know, you've had, it's not like you could never have babies naturally. You opted to for obvious
good
reasons
reasons,
with
totally.
Bella and Willow. And then with Sadie, it was more for my head.
Yeah.
And she's like, you've had a good 4-year break. It'll be by the time you...
So that was a big thing. That was a big
massive,
factor. Okay.
huge. So I'm not saying that it wouldn't be the case for other people trying to do a 2 VBAC, but the fact that I'd had such a long gap between one birth to the next was a massive factor as to why. And like there was things that popped up along the way, the size of Archie being one massive issue towards the end. And at my 20-week scan, they noticed an abnormality of one of his tubes that connects the kidney to the bladder.
Okay.
And they were like, we just need to keep an eye on this. And that was the deciding factor. And I was like, I reckon I'm definitely having a boy because Jason had something similar when he was a baby.
Oh.
And I looked at him in there and he's like, we're having a boy.
Yeah.
I was
so
like,
you didn't
that's what I
know?
had. No.
You actively, oh, there you go.
For none. I haven't known with any of my,
Yeah, that's good.
But I feel like deep down you know every time. I don't know.
Demi's like, I didn't know.
I knew with Parker, but I've anyway, not about me. It's about you.
You knew.
Well, I didn't know. No, I just was like, it's 100% a boy. I felt like I could have walked a marathon with my 4th pregnancy.
Okay.
And I was just like, I feel too good for it to be a girl.
Yeah.
So this is why I was so adamant as well with Archie that I was having a boy because I was sick every day with the twins, obviously.
Totally.
Double
Twins.
hormones.
Yep.
And then Sadie, I was sick every day. And in my head, I was like, maybe it's because I was so anxious and, you know, I was dealing with a lot of stuff with that pregnancy, taking it from the last pregnancy. But now I'm looking back, I'm like, I reckon it's just girls.
Yeah.
Because I was sick till 15 weeks with Archie and I didn't vomit again. I vomited every day for my last 2 pregnancies.
Wow.
Every single day.
So you got to 15 weeks, you just kind of stopped and you were like, what is this?
Then I was anxious.
yeah.
I was like,
The symptoms have stopped. What's happening here?
that was my key.
yes.
It's fine. Everything's tracking along good because I was sick.
Yeah.
I don't know how I was sick every day with a 2-year-old as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, looking back on that. But anyway.
I was only sick with my girls and not sick at all with Leo.
But it's really funny you say that because I've got other friends that she's had HG with both of her pregnancies and she's had boys.
Yeah.
So it's hard,
so
isn't
hard.
it?
I don't reckon HG's a
Yeah.
gender thing. You know, I reckon
Yeah.
that's like a medical.
You either
Yeah, like
get it
you
or
either
you
get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't have that or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't have HG, but I
Yeah.
was sick every day.
Yeah. You just weren't diagnosed.
Maybe looking back, I just wasn't.
thought, actually.
I was eating on Danstron like it was. Oh my God, it was a saviour.
So you didn't go into your obstetrician appointments with Cara and be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. You just kind of like, this is the stitch, gave her some backstories and she's like, great, let's have a conversation.
Yeah,
And gave
so I
you the
didn't-
option.
Yeah, I didn't go in going like, this is the way I want to go and that's it. she was like, hey, what do you think? And I was like, honestly, I really would love it if I could try and go naturally. And she goes, yeah, we can look into that.
Yeah.
And I was like, awesome. The reason I probably went into it the way I did was because I had the support of Jason as well. He's like, what do you think about a natural birth? I'm like, oh, I've had 2 C-sections. He's like, and? I'm like, oh, God, you're changing the narrative for me. What do you mean, and? I'm just going like, yeah, that's what I've always been told.
Yeah.
And then the more I looked into it, I'm like, this can be done. And listening to other people that had done it before, which there's not many.
Yeah. No.
I never forget, jumping forward to, then I'll jump back, when I was having Archie, one of my midwives that was on, she was so scared because she'd never had a successful VBAC story.
So she would have been on edge.
So on edge.
Yeah.
And
Did she tell you that before?
No.
Oh,
After?
thank God.
She's like, you're my first successful. I was like, and it's a 2 VBAC. It's like, put that on your resume.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if she said that before?
I know.
I
No,
think
she
she
wouldn't.
did. I don't know. I actually don't know. If she did, I didn't really take it
Take
on
it.
board.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I knew what I was wanting to do was quite a big deal, but I also had full faith in my body and its capabilities.
Yeah.
And my head and everything was working the way it should be, I guess.
What is the main concern? Is it the scar? Is it the
tearing?
The tearing.
The way you've been stitched back together.
On the underneath. Like not on the
Underneath.
top, not on the top layer.
Yeah.
It's all to do with as your cervix opens.
Yeah, it
And-
can stretch because
and
you're
then-
cutting through like 7 layers. or
Yeah.
something.
So it's all to do with the underlayers
Yeah.
and stretching that.
And just like the way basically you've been put back together.
Yeah.
So trusting that you've been
put back together properly.
Yeah.
I also had in the back of my mind, my mum had me via C-section and had 3 natural births after me. Way back when.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, you know what? I've got the best role model to look up to.
Yeah.
Because she absolutely didn't want to have a C-section with me, but I was very breech. So butt coming out first. When I used to get barbed after I was born, the legs would flick up, everything like that. And she was so adamant she didn't want to do another C-section. So yeah, she just did it
Yeah, right.
And how was the birth
for her.
for you?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. I had him and I was like, can we do that again?
Oh.
Stop.
I want another. And Jason's like, Amie. He also wants to have another. But at the same time, I was like, it was euphoric.
Mm-hmm.
It was like nothing. It was fucking hard. Sorry, excuse language. Oh my God, I thought I was dying. But it was amazing. Like, I'll talk you through it slowly.
Okay, we need to speak about our friends over at Mummamoo.
Oh my God, we are so excited for them. They are launching in over 400 Woolies stores
I know.
around Australia. We all know how much I love Woolies.
How good is that?
They are like,
It's
they
so
have
good.
hustled and they have done such an amazing job with their brand, their product, and it just speaks volumes how loved their formula is.
Mummamoo infant formula and toddler milk are 100% Australian made. So we know exactly how important it is to do your research about infant formula, having our business.
Absolutely. It's one of our most highest recommended thing to do as someone pregnant.
Yeah. I mean, we put together a formula feeding guide for beginners, and that was one of the biggest things we put in there is do your research because you just never know when you're going to need it.
One thing we know that's important to parents is 100% Aussie made, Aussie dairy ingredients.
Yes, agreed. And I love that it's female founded. This is just so amazing because Woolworths is just so convenient, which it's now allowed Mummamoo to just be so accessible.
Not only that, they've been #1 on product review for the last 3 years running. Like,
So good.
they are phenomenal.
Goals.
Absolute goals. And on a personal note,
Yeah.
the owners are all the most beautiful, supportive, amazing women. They've supported us on our journey
I feel like
as
they
well.
align really well with us. Like we both just genuinely want the best for the customer.
Absolutely.
Like, and that's at the end of the day, like that's all we care about. So you can visit Woolworths now in store and online to see their full Mummamoo range.
When I was watching your story about going into labour, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, because I was obviously hoping for a very streamlined waters to break naturally. I wasn't able to have any intervention. So going back about
you weren't able
having
to, sorry.
no,
How
so
come?
having due to it being a 2 VBAC. So Cara was like, I'm more than happy to advocate for you. Basically wrote a letter to St. John of God allowing me to have a natural birth. Amazing woman. absolutely adore her. Was on the phone to her this morning actually being like, I'm talking about the birth today.
She's a great advocate
She's
for
just
women.
a great advocate for women.
Yeah.
That whole
I
hub
had my
that
mum
they
in
have created.
theatre as well.
Pardon?
I had my mum in the theatre as well. Again, she got a letter.
Stop it.
My mum like bawled.
Oh.
And because I was never allowed that. Like I would have had mum in the birthing suite if I was having vaginal births.
Yeah. It was
She's a good woman.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so what do in a perfect world, what do we want to happen? And she's like, it needs to your waters need to break on your own. And
so intervention would even mean her having to break like you did.
yeah.
Anything to induce labour.
Anything to induce it. So no syntocin, no balloon, nothing sort of thing. Like your waters break and everything happens.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Would they be allowed to use like the vacuum or forceps or little things like things like that?
Yeah, if like situations happen where baby gets stuck. Like those type of interventions. But more so like
to bring
starting
on
the labour.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, awesome. And then at I think I was 32 weeks, Archie flipped. Not head up, not breech, but he laid transverse.
Yeah, right.
For a long period of time. And she's like going through all the things that could go wrong. Like, you know, if he doesn't move from being transverse and the umbilical cord falls through when you're trying to have him naturally. I'm just like, honestly, kid.
Transverse.
So I was like, so I did some research and I found some exercises to do spinning babies and I spun him. Yeah, like standing on my head off the side of the couch.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't know if I took a video of it. I took videos of me doing my exercises and then I found some exercises to do that I did morning and night for 2 weeks to sort of like open up my pelvis. We also did a birth class with Geelong Born, I think it's called, with Rosie. It was amazing. And I'm really glad I did that because it helped me so much in labour because I was going in. Everyone that goes in to have a baby naturally goes in quite blindsided. And I was like, I've had 2 C-sections, which is so different. I need to know sort of like the letting go and like if I'm not letting go, how to know I'm not letting go, like and just letting it happen. And it helped me a lot. So we did that as well. And then I got to like a week before I was due.
So about 39 weeks?
39.
Yep.
Yeah, 38, 39 weeks. And Kara's like, this baby's big.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, gravity will do its job then. Like, big baby, it'll fall out, right? I'd heard stories like that anyway. And I was like, you know, it's not always a bad thing. And she's like, we're just going to have to monitor a bit closer. It just could lead to some complications if you do go into labour and he gets stuck sort of thing. We don't know if your pelvis is suitable for a natural birth. And I was like, you could literally say that about any woman though that's ever had a baby.
Yeah, like literally.
So in my head, I was still very like, so what? Then, I just grew so much in the last 2 weeks. Like I was freaking huge. I was bigger than what I was with the twins. And I got all my stretch marks on my stomach in my last 2 weeks.
Stop.
I had one before I had Archie. Now I have a son.
Yeah.
On my stomach. I'm like, cool.
We all do.
I love that.
I do anyway.
Yeah, that makes me feel better. But isn't that crazy? 2 pregnancies.
It's so
and
crazy.
I didn't have one.
Yeah.
Oh, I had one. Sorry, a little one near my belly button.
Yeah.
Anyway, was doing my exercises morning and night, made it through the school holidays, made it through Sadie's birthday, which was the 30th of March, made it through Easter, made it through the twins' birthday, which I was really anxious about because I was like, if my waters break, that's just so much emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Made it through that. And then the day after, I was like, I think I'm leaking. And then I was like, Amie, do you just think you're leaking because you saw that Demi was leaking? Or are you actually leaking? And I was finishing off setting up the baby room.
That he sleeps in.
Oh, yeah, that he sleeps in. He actually does some day naps in there, though, which is really nice. I was trying to take Sadie's stuff out, basically. Half her wardrobe's still in his cupboard, but anyway. And I was packing the baby bag and I was like, I just feel like there's more discharge than usual.
Yep.
But then I was like, I've been doing these exercises for 2 weeks, so maybe it is just loosening up a lot. So went in, I rang Cara, I was like, should I come in and check? And she's like, you know what, there's no harm.
Yeah.
Thinking back to Sadie's pregnancy, I was in there all the time getting things checked because I was so anxious. So I was like, I've literally been in, I haven't even been in once. So I was like, okay, we'll go in. Went in, got monitored, got my waters, juices tested, and it wasn't amniotic fluid or anything. So she sent me home and she's like, you know, just keep an eye on it. So that was on the Saturday night. Sunday, woke up completely fine, just did some jobs around the house, had a maternity photo shoot on Sunday night. Jason's going to die of me saying this, but I had to take the girls with me. I thought he'd be back in time. I don't know if you saw, but he's obsessed with playing poker, him and his mates.
No, but I was just laughing at how he had to rush back from
Oh
the
my
beach.
goodness, it was next level. I was like, you are ridiculous. Can you, like, the girls were playing with their friends. I was like, let's just like enjoy this little leisurely stroll back to the campsite. Anyway, he was playing poker in Geelong. And I was like, where are you? I've got this maternity photo shoot. He's like, oh, I'm not done. And I'm like, well, this is the last poker game you'll be playing for 12 months because like your child's due any second. So I took the girls with me to this sunset photo shoot.
Oh, so you still did
beautiful.
it?
Yeah. Yep, did it. Went home, had dinner, fell asleep on the couch after the girls went down and got up, woke up off the couch, got into bed, and I just felt like a bit of a gush when I got into bed. But because I'd been in hospital the day before, I'm like, oh, more juices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Went and put a pad on. Didn't think anything of it because I was like, you know, just monitor it. And it didn't feel like enough to feel like waters.
Yeah. I know the feeling. Can relate.
Yeah. Anyway, so I went back to sleep. Jason got up, went to work the next day. I got up, took Bella and Sadie to school and daycare. So Sadie goes to daycare 1 day a week on a Monday all day.
Did you wake up? Oh, you put a pad on. Did
Put
you
a pad
say?
on.
Was
There
the
was
pad wet when you woke up?
So this is the funny thing. I took a photo of it, didn't even send it to Cara. I was like, oh, that looks a bit weird. I'll take a photo, monitor, put another one in and see if it changes from like now till I get my jobs done. So literally I had to drop the girls. Then I went to Monberry's house, had to do some content because I was like, I'm just going to get all the stuff through that I need to get done. And then as I was there, we were talking about her pregnancies and her labours, and I was talking about my juices and how I was in hospital the other day. And
As you do.
yeah, and then I was like, oh, speaking of that, I've had a bit of discharge this morning. I think it's okay though. And then we were talking about the weather and how it's probably going to change soon from that summery feeling to autumn colder mornings. I was like, I'd really love to get another ocean swim in before where my brain goes, before I have a baby. And she's like, well, go and do it. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to. And I drove from her house straight to the river because I was doing some content for Estroni, the onesie.
Yep.
Yeah. And I had that and I was like, I'll just go for a swim in that.
Yeah.
And I had a towel in the car, always have a towel in my car. And I got to the river and I was like, I'm just going to take send Cara a message and be like, look, this is what happened last night. This was my discharge when I woke up this morning. This is my pad now. What do you think I should do?
4 hours later.
Well, if you're going from 10 p.m. last night,
Yeah.
it was 10 hours,
Later.
nearly 12 hours later. And she was like, but sent it, put my phone down, jumped in the water. Went for a swim.
So she was like, it's your mucus
Okay, so you
plug.
got your swim in.
I got my swim and it was beautiful and it was like I felt the presence of Willow there and the sun was gleaming and it was such a calm day. It was beautiful. The tide was going out, so it was really nice time to go for a swim at the river. And I got out of the water and I had 3 missed calls from and I rang back. I was like, hi. And she's like, you need to come in here right now. And I was like, oh. She's like, when did this happen last night? I said 10 p.m. She's like, so if it is what I think it is, so she's like, I definitely think it's your waters. I don't know if it's your full waters or your hind waters. And I think he's pooed because it looks like greeny, yellowy. And I was like, oh, I just thought, waters could be a different colour. She's like, where are you? I was like, I just went for a swim. She goes, where? I was like, oh, I'm at the river. So I'm in the ocean. She goes, thank God you're not at a pool. Because
my
her
God.
head went to infection.
Infection, totally.
And I was like, okay, I will go home and get my bags and put them in the car and come in. She's like, yeah, that'll be great. So I went home. I literally like had a shower, really just like flounced around, but I wasn't feeling anything.
Yeah. So you're like, it's not going to happen in 1 second.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got into hospital, it was 2 p.m.
So you've called Jason obviously and said, meet me at the hospital? Or?
I was like, Jason, I think we've got like another thing from the other day.
He's like,
he
is
was
it worth
working
me
at
stopping my
Newtown.
poker game for? I reckon this is the real deal.
He was even like, is it going to be the same thing as the other day?
Yeah.
And I said, I honestly don't know, but I've sent photos to our obstetrician and she wants me to come in. He's like, well, just let me know. He was working at Newtown, so he'd not changed jobs, but he'd finished his big job further away and he got put on a job closer to home, which was really awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, just bring my bag. I'll meet you there when I finish. He's like, let me know if I need to come in sooner though. And I was like, yeah, no worries. Like, got in there at 2:00.
So you went into Kara's rooms on your own or went straight to the
Went
birthing
straight to
suite?
the hospital.
Yeah.
And she came up and met me when she could.
Yeah.
So I was sort of just talking to the midwives and stuff and getting hooked up to the monitor.
To monitor the heart.
And everything seemed fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, look, we'll just wait until Kara gets here to test your waters and stuff. I'm relaying all this to Jason. I'm relaying all this to my manager. She's like, Amie, we need that content for this. And I was like, oh, I'm actually in hospital. But yeah.
Who picks up the girls?
So Sadie was at daycare all day. So she could be there until 6:00.
Yeah.
And Bella was at school. So I rang my sister.
Yeah.
How good are sisters?
So good.
And I rang mum because I was like, but I was also like to mum, don't come yet because
Totally.
I might need for you for a week and mum's 2 hours away. So I don't
Yes.
want her to come too early. So Hannah was on the job for the girls.
Yep.
Thank God.
Yep.
And I was like, just all you need to worry about is getting Bella from school and Sadie can be there till 6. So
Yep.
whenever you can get Sadie, you can get Sadie.
Yeah.
So they were sorted, which was quite easy. And then I sort of was just like sitting there on the ECG and going like, this is another waste of time. And then Kara came in, she's like, what's going on? And I was like, well, you tell me. And she's like, I think your waters have definitely broke. But she's like, I don't think they're your full waters, but we'll test them.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't believe you went for a swim. And I was like, yeah, it's just typical me things, isn't it? And then she's like, you're just so blasé. And I was like, well, hopefully I can be this blasé through the whole birth if this progresses to a natural birth.
Yep.
Because that was in the back of my mind. Like I was so adamant I could do it, but I was also very open to anything happening. Like if I needed to be C-sectioned, I needed to be C-sectioned.
Yeah.
So
You're easy on your body.
yeah,
basically.
I was kind, but I really wanted a natural birth. Then she tested my waters, come back as, amniotic fluid. Rang Jason. I was like, you better get your butt in here because we're sort of making a plan for what to do. Because she's like, technically I had to get a drip put in as well because technically my waters had been broken for over 14 hours by this stage. And
Same.
yeah, it's wild. And that's why I was like, Amie, stop like seeing someone else's journey and thinking it's your own.
Yeah, you've got so many references to Demi.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
cute.
so,
had
and
to have a
our
drip
same
straight away.
obstetrician.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get a test done too to make sure that there wasn't an infection.
Yes.
Did you have to have that?
No, I don't think so.
I think because this was Friday, mine was technically Tuesday that I'd started.
Okay, well,
leaking.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I know.
But did it just feel like a leak? Was it your hindwaters or was it your full?
I think it was my full by the Friday.
Yeah.
But the Tuesday when the first time I had to change my underwear when sitting on the couch, I said to Mitch, I just weed myself.
And I felt like that a bit
And then
throughout the last month of my pregnancy.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I was like, heaviest. There's just a lot of pressure down there. Maybe it's just, so I can totally relate. Anyway, by the time Jason came in, the doctor was in putting a catheter in my arm to get like a drip running and they couldn't find my vein. And I am not good with needles at best. So I was very uncomfortable and crying. It was probably more painful. And he actually got a nerve in my and bruised my whole arm. Yeah, so I was like, awesome, this is great.
Great
Jason's
stuff.
like, what the fuck? Like, did I need to be in here sooner? And I was like, no, I'm just getting a needle and I don't like needles and that really hurt. So then he got in there about 5. We ordered some dinner. Kara came in and we had a chat. She's like, look, I know I said I'm like no intervention, but she's like, I'm happy to fully break your waters because your hindwaters have broke and he's pooed.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And she goes, fingers crossed, this leads to a streamlined progression and everything just kicks off. So I was a little bit anxious at this stage because I was like, fuck, like what if like nothing happens? I can't have syntocin, you know. I'm putting my trust into my body to just do something it's never done before, which like everyone does. But I had a few crosses against things that I couldn't have.
Yeah.
So that was by, I think, 7. She fully popped my waters. Had our dinner. I had like pasta, carbonara. I think I had a scone with jam and cream. I had a milkshake.
That
like
is Rogue, the
Rogue.
milk.
Yeah, I craved milkshakes a
Eggy
lot.
pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
creamy
like,
past.
Idiot. Yeah, I
Craving a
learned my
lot of
lesson.
dairy at this stage.
I learned my lesson, let's just say, during the hot and heavy moments of labour. And then from like 7 till 10, I was very antsy. Like I had to be monitored the whole time, being a 2 VBAC. They didn't have a cordless monitor available. So I was in bed and they're like, oh, are you feeling that tightening? And I was like, honestly, it feels like a Braxton Hicks, and I had them really bad with the twins. I was like, this is nothing. And they're like, oh, they're 5 minutes apart. And I'm like, get me up. Like, and they're like, oh, you know, we don't have a
Mobile thing.
mobile one.
Yeah.
And I was like, so over it. And then I reckon as soon as a mobile one become available, someone had just had a baby, I was like, get me up right now. I need to go to the toilet, which I was like, that's reassuring. They say if you need to go to the toilet, things are happening. So I went to the toilet, couldn't really get anything past. And then from then on, I did not get back into bed, was using the TENS machine the whole time, just working through my contractions from 10 till about midnight. By midnight, I thought I was dying. So my contractions went from 5 minutes apart, like a minute worth, to 30 seconds apart, and each contraction was a minute and a half for 2 hours. I couldn't breathe. Oh, not couldn't breathe. I couldn't reset. I couldn't get comfortable. I'd started to get nauseous.
And now you're regretting the milkshake.
I spewed.
The carbonara.
It's so
you did
funny.
spew.
I did.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
scone.
The scone, the jam.
and I had Jason in my ear going, Amy, like, try some gas, like maybe the 10s. And I was like, I just fucking spewed. Do you think I feel like sucking on that thing right now? I've never spoken to him like this in our entire relationship. And he was like, I just saw a whole new person come out. And I was like, I witnessed a whole new person come out. This is not me in the
This is
slightest.
labour, Amy.
Yeah. Literally. And he was like sitting behind me, like giving me massage, like light touch, which was amazing, on this chair. But the chair was too close to the wall and my exercise ball kept hitting the chair. And I was like, if you don't fucking move that chair into a more like practical position, I'm going to lose it. And he's like, maybe you should try moving. I was like, I'm trying to do everything I'm trying to do right now. So I was moving a lot. I was down on the floor. I was on my like hands and knees. Then I was swaying across the bed. And then I got in the ball and I got too comfortable. And this is where the birth class come really handy, like in the terms of like letting your body go and like just really breathing through it and letting go with each contraction. I had hardly any break to sort of like reset. And then every time I went to let go, I closed my legs. So when the midwives came in, they're like, oh, you know, keep moving around. And I was like, I honestly can't. Like I'm trying, but I'm squishing my legs together like I'm holding a freaking egg in, like a chicken holding an egg or a duck holding an egg. And she's like, let me just check and see how far dilated you are. And I was 4 centimeters. And that was really deflating because I was like, it's been so intense I know it was only 2 hours, but the fact that it was that hot and heavy for 2 hours, I was like, surely like we're a bit further. So I got an epidural at 12 because I was like, I need to let go and I'm not letting go and I need some help with it. And this is all the things we learnt in our birthing class. And Jason was awesome. He was like, you just do whatever you need to do. Like he was like, it's killing me not being able to do anything to help right now. So got the epidural, fell asleep.
Amazing.
For an hour and a half.
Nice.
Got woken up when they were trying to, one of the monitors wasn't sitting properly on my stomach. And I was like, I feel great. My midwife was like, your body is amazing. And I was like, oh, what do you mean? She's like, your uterus. She's like, her and the other midwife were like, we would be trying to turn the syntocin down right now if this was an intervention labour. She's like, but we can't. Your body is just doing what it needs to do so amazingly. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So then I took a video of my stomach, and she's like, well, you might as well check and see how dilated you are. And I'd fully dilated.
Yeah.
With my nap.
Do you think you just needed to relax?
I needed to let go.
Like your mind must be so strong. Look, and take over.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was like, and I know it is through a lot of previous experiences, and my mind can get the better of me at times, especially with like mental health struggles. I'm like, I get so stuck in my own head, and I think I was so like, I can't do it. And from me saying I can't do it, it reflected in my body, and then my body was like holding him in basically.
Totally.
So yeah, the epidural did its job.
Yeah.
So just let me let go.
Yeah.
You're like the prime candidate for one.
Basically.
Yeah.
And also just to sort of give people the non-taboo of it. Like, medical interventions are there for a reason.
Totally.
And you're not any better or worse by getting one or not getting one.
Yeah.
And I clearly needed it.
Yeah.
So got checked, fully dilated. They're like, well, you could probably start pushing soon. And I was like, this is wild.
Yeah.
How do you push when you cannot feel?
It's hard.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So my epidural went more down one side than the other. Really weird. Had full movement over my left leg.
That's funny.
It was weird. So I was able to get over onto all fours and like hang over the back of the bed and basically have him like I was laying an egg.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had
Which
one
is
baby like that.
exactly what I described it as, because my midwives were like, what does it feel like? And I was like I am laying a big motherfucking egg. She's like, that's good. Like, the fact that you can understand that pressure.
Yeah.
She's like, that's the perfect explanation. And I got over into position at like 10 past 4. And I think I had him at 4:32.
Yeah.
So good.
And just a few pushes and he was out.
Yeah.
With a lot of poo.
Yes.
Honestly, he came out and I was like, oh my goodness, you had poo.
Yeah.
It was a shit show.
Yeah.
Stop.
Literally.
All right. Today I'm stopping the pod because I like genuinely need to talk about my happy place.
What is it?
Upstate Studios.
I knew you were going to say that. We've both been going for years.
Yeah.
And I would say that I think it's the versatility of all the different class types that keeps us wanting to go back.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it's just like fun. I think what's like the most important thing is that there is something for absolutely everybody. Like there's boxing, hot Pilates, yoga, sound bath, meditation, reformer.
I'm obsessed with boxing. I love boxing. When I explain to people that I love the boxing, they're like, oh, I don't really like boxing and like partner work. And I'm like, no, it's not that type of boxing.
No.
I'm like, it's all just like this sequence that you just follow, but it's to the beat of the music and it's just like fun and I don't know, you just get like a big ooh. So here's the best part. Because of our love for Upstate, they are giving our listeners a discount. 30 days of unlimited classes for $29.
There's 12 studios around Victoria, so I'm sure that you'll find one near you. And Geelong Matt's studio just had a full-blown glow-up.
Upstate is like your one-stop shop.
Yeah, like literally they even offer courses on becoming a Pilates instructor, so you can become an instructor at Upstate, and they also have international retreats. In our show notes, I've popped a link, so follow that through.
And then use code MR at checkout to get your $29 pass for unlimited classes.
See you in class.
When was it like, oh my God, I've had a boy?
So funny. So he came, I think I was in absolute awe that I'd just delivered a baby naturally.
Yeah.
And I basically caught him. Well, Cara guided him into my arms and I scooped him onto my chest and I didn't even look to see what I'd had.
Yeah.
I was just so overwhelmed that, holy fuck, I did what I wanted to do. And and then we were just like, I just kept rubbing him. I remember I've got a video on my phone because my midwives took amazing photos and videos. And I was like rubbing him going, shh. And he wasn't making any noise. And I was like, am I doing that for me? Clearly I'm doing that for me. It's so funny. If you see it, you're like, good aims.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy fuck, what is he? And Jason's like, it's a boy. It's the first thing I checked. And I was like, oh my God, we've got a boy. And then next moment, like not even the realization of having a boy, the first thing I said to myself was, he doesn't look like my name.
Oh.
Because we had 2 names chosen for a boy and 2 for a girl. No, we had like 4 for a girl. So I feel like if we had a girl.
So was this more Jason's name?
100%.
Yeah.
First time I met him, told him that I want more kids. First conversation we had, he's like, yeah, I want to have a boy called Archibald. And I was like, cool. Okay. I've got a list of boy names that I also love too that I haven't been able to use.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I was like, he's such an Archie. And he just looked at me, he's like, it's up to you, Doug. Yeah. And I was like,
You had that moment.
Yeah. So I think that was my first thing. And then I was like, oh my God, we've got a boy. And I just remember looking at him going, he's such a boy, because he was 9 pounds. So he was 4.07 kilos.
Wild.
You think back to Bella and Willow. What was Bella 1.7? Willow was 1.29. Sadie was not even 3. Or 3, just on 3 kilos. And I was like, I've got this 4. Yeah, you are a boy.
Yeah.
It was the most euphoric experience ever. And then I just wanted to ring everyone, because I was like, I just pushed a baby out of my vagina and no one was answering the phone.
Oh.
Did everyone know your plans of what you wanted? Had you told many people that you were going for a
VBAC?
Yeah.
It had come up in conversation with like random people, but Mum knew, obviously my family knew, my sister knew, everyone close to me knew, because I wasn't booked in for a C-section.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I looked like I was very pregnant, I feel like, from the moment I announced I was pregnant.
That's so annoying, isn't
4th
it?
child thing.
Yeah.
No, by the time you've had 2, I reckon from then onwards,
Yeah.
you're actually pregnant from the minute you conceive.
Absolutely. For
Like
me,
showing.
before I conceived, because I just never lose.
I was actually looking at photos the other day. I was like, she was ready. She was there before it even.
My body knows where to stretch,
body
knows what to do.
Tell you what, getting it back to what it was is
It's a rough trot, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
That's just a non-existing thing.
I don't think it's going to happen. But as long as I feel strong, that's the main
That's
thing.
it. That's well put.
So yeah, the next few hours that followed was just, I couldn't switch off. I was so
you're on cloud
high.
nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly felt like I was on cloud 9.
Yeah.
Indestructible.
Yeah.
Like nothing could phase me.
That's
or affect
amazing.
me. And I was like, I just want to tell the world that I'm
Yeah.
just at my vagina. And then I hit about 12 and I fell in a heap. Never forget.
And I'm done.
Jason took a photo of us asleep on the bed. We were waiting for our room to become available at the hospital. And yeah, I just was like, fuck, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then Mum brought the girls in. My sister came in. And then by about 7 o'clock that night, because I not forgot, but like it was a whole 24 hours sort of process. Like I'd been in there since 2 p.m. the day before. And I know that that's nothing compared to some people that are in labour for days, but I was like, oh, yeah, I'm knackered. Like I'm spent. So we had 3 or 4 days in hospital, which was very nice.
Yeah. So nice.
So nice. To sort of just like catch our breath again, but then the feeding again and
all the things. Yeah.
So wild. But
Did you tear it all?
yeah,
Yeah.
I had a 2nd degree.
Yeah.
But didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously I had an epidural, but didn't really affect me in any way. Like the way Cara stitched me back up was fine, and it happened. She said it was she goes, it was a good tear, but she's like, it happened the way it should. So
Clear.
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah. She's like, it's not like he was coming out so quickly and wasn't guided right that it ripped me bad, but it healed really great too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with that.
Is this your partner's first baby?
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah, he literally got to a point where he was like, maybe I'm just not going to have kids. And
Jason and I go way back.
Oh, get out.
From our Ballenheads days.
Isn't it?
Stop.
It's actually crazy. When he told me, I was like, oh my God, you know everyone. Like,
Yeah, but you're living in Ocean Grove.
Do you know, I think he knows Aaron.
yeah, he
Yeah, he
does.
does.
He does.
Oh, okay.
That's
He
like
said he was catching up. He had a good chat with him at
Brooks.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I used to play footy with him.
yeah.
Oh,
When Aaron was at Ballenheads.
Yeah. What, briefly? Was
Yeah,
it?
briefly. But Aaron still played at Ocean Grove, and like it's just
Yeah,
like
it's
similar
there.
to her.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. since meeting him, I feel like now I know everyone in Ocean Grove and
Yeah,
Barwon Heads. It was always
was he still in Barwon Heads?
no. So he just moved back to Ocean Grove after being away for years.
Oh, okay.
And I literally met him the month he came back, and I was like, oh, sorry.
Where'd you meet?
Do you know Julia Mitchell?
Yes.
Her birthday dinner.
Oh.
So apparently, the story goes that the catch up, the hookup had been trying to be organised by a couple of the friends.
It was tried to be planned. Okay.
Yeah, but COVID, like, and the random closed lockdowns that we had stopped that. I think it was the September before we were supposed to catch up and he couldn't or something. I didn't know. Like, I think he was going to come to somewhere we were.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, it was her birthday. I was sitting next to a friend of mine and she's like, oh, I want to have a bitch about my partner. Do you mind swapping seats so the boys don't hear it? And I was like, oh, yeah, no worries. And I can talk to anyone about anything. And there was these two guys sitting there and we just started chatting. Anyway, ended up going home with him that night. And I think we spent like every weekend together or saw each other every week after that. And that was on mid-Feb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that would happen?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Especially in the early days of separation,
Yeah.
divorce, 2 little kids.
I feel like as a woman, I don't want to sound sexist, but I feel like it would be so much easier for Mitch to meet someone. 'Cause I feel like the kids would live with me.
Demi.
But that's not going to be everyone's situation. Like, that's just like a very standard comment.
No, because it's obviously the first thing that crossed my mind, because I was like, when does anyone meet someone new when you've got 2 little kids in tow? And how do you even have that conversation with someone? Hi, I'm what did everyone used to say to me in my early days when I was like going out and realizing that I was fun? I'd be like, hi, I'm Amie and I'm fun. My sister's friend Anna was like, oh my God, Amie.
That's not a pickup line.
But I was trying to find the fact that, like, I'm not defined by 2 little kids.
Yeah.
And I'm not defined by motherhood, even though it was such a big part of my life then.
And how did you start talking to Jason? Obviously he already knows a bit about you.
Yeah.
Because it was like this pre-organised catch up. But like instantly for him, it's like, well, you have 2 children. Like,
yeah, and he was supportive.
He was just
of that
like,
straight
it
away.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just all in.
I think being a bit older,
Totally.
having lived overseas, gone away,
Experience on life.
experienced life, done what he needed to do.
Yeah.
He always said he wanted to have kids by like 35. He was only a year older than that, so I got that in. And I was like, oh my God, cool.
That's within 10%.
I think, that all played like a massive role. But also, we joke about it all the time. I was like, it was huge what he took on.
Totally.
Sadie had just turned 2 after I met him.
Yeah.
We went to Hawaii when Bella was 4 and Sadie was 2.
Yeah.
6 months after we met each other.
Yeah.
For like 8 days.
And that's big for a male that doesn't have their own children.
And he's an only child.
Yes. He's an only child.
There you go.
Yeah. Even his parents, like, bless them, I think they've thought, maybe it's not on the card for us to have grandkids.
Yeah.
So it's pretty special to see them with Archie.
Yeah. I need to ask, how does he go? Because your life is online. Like, not your life, as in your job. Sorry, I should say your job.
So funny.
And like, so is mine, and basically so is ours with the business. But mine is personally.
And you know Jason.
And I knew him so long ago.
Sorry.
But like, I was like, is he just like, what the fuck is that world? Amie, like,
I never.
why do you have to record that? Like, why are you sharing that?
So I can't even say that I've been online heaps lately. I feel like the last 2 months I've really haven't been sharing as much, but I feel like April sort of rocks me with the twins' birthday. And then all of a sudden now we've got 3 birthdays in 3 fucking weeks. And then there's
you need to start a
there.
birthday fund.
Literally.
You actually do.
I'm so broke.
Yes.
It's so hard.
I always think that going into Christmas, the boys' birthdays are super close to Christmas. I'm like, I need a Christmas/birthday fund.
When's
Save
Archie's
those
birthday?
Woolies points.
27th of November, and then Ollie's the 1st of December. So like 4 days apart.
So my sister-in-law's like that with her. It must be the numbers. 2 and 3. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one's the end of November and one's mid-December.
Yes.
And I was like, Jess, I don't know how you do it. Also, you both have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Says me, who's like, I don't know
Yeah.
Like I'm done. Funny you say that. Sorry, I'm going to answer your question. When we first met, I didn't really share a lot because I was like, he's very to
Share
himself.
him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like snippets and stuff. And
Yeah.
everyone's
Did you do a
like,
soft
"Who's this
launch?
guy?"
So you did a soft launch, they
I
say.
was like this. I was like, oh my God, that's
Like-
Jason.
It's so
Could
funny.
you just sort of see his hand in things at first?
Yeah,
the
it was
back,
like
the back of his head at a beach, like
it was actually
at a
little bit
table
like that.
where
Like
you
we'd
can
be
see
going-
that there's someone
There's
else
a, no,
there.
there's a male
We're
there,
not
but
showing
we
who.
don't.
We're not tagging anyone.
And I wasn't just for full context. I wasn't being like hint, nudge, nudge, keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
It was more so I was being very respectful
Yes.
of this guy who's very to himself. The online world is very overwhelming as well.
Yeah.
And people just rip you apart in a second, although he would not care. He'd be like, they can go
Cool.
fuck themselves.
Yeah.
But I was also very mindful of, you know, everything I do share with him, I need to talk about first.
Yep.
So I soft launched him, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
in
you
my
did soft
stories
launch him.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Walking on the beach at the back of his like head and stuff. And yeah, Demi was like, "Is that Jason?" And I was like, "Toddy, you said
Toddy.
is that
I think I said Toddy.
And I was like, "Yeah, I have to call him Jason though, because I'm not a mate." Because I had him saved in my phone when we first met as Toddy.
oh.
And he's like, "Change that right now."
Yeah.
He's like, "You're more than a mate to me." And I was like, "Okay, Jason." And to this day, whenever I say, like, if we're camping or if we're around friends, I'm like, "Jason." And they're like, "Who the fuck is Jason?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That's what I call him."
Yeah.
It's Jason to us. I have to.
Jason Derulo.
Before we went to Hawaii, we went to Byron in October for friends of his got married. And I sort of said to him, I was like, "Look, are you okay if I put a photo up of us?
We
at
need
the
a hard
wedding and I
launch."
tag you?" Basically, I was like, "You're more than welcome to put your account in private if you don't want to be trolled."
Yeah.
But I was like, "We're going to Hawaii next month and I need to openly share
Mm-hmm.
because it was for work.
Mm-hmm.
And I need, you're going to have to be." And then he goes, "Oh, I better get used to it now." And I was like, "Obviously you can pre-approve stuff. Like
Yep.
when I make a reel, you can have a look at it first."
Yep.
And then it just sort of springboarded from there. So put up the photo, obviously Daily Mail got the article sort of, as it always does.
Was he on private?
He was, I got him to switch to private.
And then was he like, who the fuck are these people trying to follow
oh
me?
my God, he was like, "This is overwhelming. How
Yeah.
do you deal with it?"
To
He's-
put phone down.
He's like, "This is on another level." And I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm sorry."
You
but
see him
it's-
now and he's just like, "Hey guys, just jumping on." You're like, "What have I made?"
It's actually funny you say that. The girls got like toy cameras for their birthday. "Hi guys, I'm just showing you what
Yeah.
I'm doing." And I was like, "Bella, oh my
I know, same.
God, what have
Felt
I
so
done?"
bad,
But you know, it's work. It's the way
Yeah.
I provide for our family.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's. I think you can get too lost.
100%.
Yeah, in your head about
Yeah.
it. So it was a lot, and like there was a couple of articles written, and he's like, "Wow, I'm out there." And it's so funny because his name on his Instagram is spelt different to what it is. I don't know, he made it harder so people
So
can't find
the
him.
articles are spelt wrong?
J-A-I.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "I need to he's like, "I need to change that." And I was like, "Well, that's you."
Mm.
Like, that's in your control.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty good about it.
Yeah.
It
Would have
is
been a
what
lot
it
at the
is.
start and then
A lot at the start, but then he's like, "This is your work."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And this is the
I'll
way
stay on
we-
private and
Yeah. And I'll say yay or nay to people
Yeah.
that I don't want looking into my stuff.
yeah.
Mm.
Also, he's non-active.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like
Yeah.
he's vlogging his days and like,
I think the last post he did was like 2020,
Yeah.
2022. I'm like, cool sunset, mate. Oh, it's funny. But yeah, it was a conversation that had to
Yeah.
happen. Like, you don't have to, I don't want you to change who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to like throw yourself into what I do, because that's what I love about us. We're so separate.
mm-hmm.
You've got your work, I've got my work.
Mm-hmm.
We're both providing equally, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Not equally, but we're both providing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny.
I think that's the best.
Is that Jason? I saw Jason in an article
Yeah.
someone in Bowenhead said.
Yeah.
Is that the same Jason? Yes, it is.
Funny.
It's so funny.
So you're really happy.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
the
good.
full actual aims. Oh, Dad said this, I think, not long after I met Jason. He goes, "I feel like I've got my little girl back," which is really
Aw.
nice.
Yeah.
living my full authentic self finally.
And are you happy in Ocean Grove still?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
She can't really move too far away.
No,
Live in
no, we were
Torquay,
talking
maybe.
the other day about where her mum lives, like where her parents live, and like moving back, well, to be closer to parents. And
Yeah, it's so mum and dad are like near Port Campbell Farm, but in Warrnambool now. They bought for like their next stage in life in Warrnambool, so they go between the two. And
her parents' house has a pool, an indoor pool. I'm like, I would want to live there.
it's honestly every time we go there, I'm like, why are you 2 hours away?
Yeah.
My sister lives around my sister-in-law lives around the corner.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm so jealous.
yep.
I don't know. For this foreseeable future, I see us here.
Yep.
Bella's started school. Sadie's at
Totally.
school next year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to uproot them
Yep.
in such a pivotal time of their life. But in saying that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever, I was like, I see myself here.
Yeah. But you just don't know.
I'm sort of open to anything now.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like my life has made me sort of open to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Much like your labour, just
Yeah.
the more you resist,
Yeah.
the harder it is. So if something feels right and feels natural, just go with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And you just never know what's going to
Nah.
happen in life. You never know what opportunities are going to come up. Like you just never, ever, ever know. Jason could get an amazing job somewhere and you're like, you know what?
and this is
This is the best for us.
and this
Yeah.
is what we talk about. We'd love to own some land.
Yep.
Like we really want chickens.
Yep.
You've mentioned
Chickens
Eggs
and
a
eggs a
lot.
lot.
so I did get the chicken thing.
we want chickens. I laid an
Couple
egg.
of ducks.
Yeah. So I don't know. Who knows where?
Who
it
knows?
is. Yeah. But like I need to be by the ocean.
Yeah.
I love being in Ocean Grove.
Yeah.
Such a good group of people.
Yeah.
Such good friends. My sister's still around the corner.
Yeah.
So at least I've got that.
Yeah.
Even though she works in town and like I don't see her that often. But yeah. I don't
For
know.
now.
For now. We're
Yeah.
here.
So good. Well, thank you so much for making the time. We actually don't have any more time, even though we could keep talking.
I
We could
know.
literally do a whole nother episode.
We actually might have to.
I
'cause
know.
We didn't cover the tops.
We didn't
topics.
cover half the topics.
Yeah.
We usually record for 45 to 50 minutes. It's over an hour.
If you ever want me again, more than happy
If
to.
you have a fourth baby.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Keep your eyes peeled. Let me get Sadie to school and then we can chat about that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Don't mention it. Thank you so much for having me. I've loved every second.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on another Mr. Mum's ep.
If you find yourself with a spare 2 seconds, we'd really appreciate a rating or a review to help new listeners find our podcast.